Well, there are some very serious challenges and some very serious risks that we will all face under a Trump administration. If President-elect Trump, as president, carries through on his promises during the campaign, that can have a devastating effect on climate change in several ways. If, for example, we back away from COP21 and the commitments that we've made under COP21, that will make the implementation of that agreement extremely difficult. That agreement, the Paris Agreement, COP21, was based on a mutuality of commitments made by many countries, including the developed countries, on how much the reduction will be made with respect to emissions, technical assistance that will be provided to developing countries. A monitoring system is being set up. If we are not part of that, it will make the follow-through with respect to these issues very difficult. This will also have, I would argue, a spillover effect on our overall foreign policy. When the Bush administration in 2001 backed away from Kyoto, it not only had an effect on the Kyoto Protocol, but it had an effect on how we were able to conduct our entire foreign policy. It caused a tremendous loss of credibility that affected our ability to conduct foreign policy. And if we were to back away from the Paris Agreement, it would make it very difficult to gain cooperation with other countries on other important issues as well as climate change. There'd obviously be an effect in the United States if the Clean Power Plan were negated, if other regulations were negated. So this is really serious business, and I think we all have to understand that and do everything that we can to try and obviate this. I might add, some have suggested that with Trump deregulating the energy economy, and allowing more drilling, that would have a positive effect on energy production in the United States. I don't think that's true. I think that'll depend on what the market says. It won't. The fact that energy companies have decreased production in the last year has nothing to do with regulations. It's a pure market issue of price in the oil and gas industry. And if, because of policies of a new administration, we see a downturn in our economy, both domestically as well as the global economy, that's going to have a serious effect on demand, and and the energy companies are going to be no better off. And maybe worse off. So these, again, are very serious issues that we have to address.
The Paris COP was successful because it was a bottom-up approach. That approach now has to be brought to the American heartland in a way that it never has been before. Last night's populist upset means that the climate advocates need to convince this new majority of the American people why and how a low-carbon future is in their direct interest. When you think about what it means for U.S. clean energy policy, I just note that this natural gas boom in the United States has brought so much cheap gas that cheap gas is what made the Obama initiative of the Clean Power Plan economically and therefore politically viable. Therefore, it's not just a change in policy that would bring a rush of coal power back to the United States. It's really about the cheap gas, and that's not changing. And the third point, renewables passed a tipping point in the last couple of years by being seen as investors as a more favorable long-term investment than traditional fossil fuel energy. That is also something that won't change overnight.